Alrighty, this is the story of how On Any Moto tried to get me fired for my job about 2 days ago. So for those of you that have been a subscriber of mine or even just watched a lot of my videos from, let's say, 6 months to a year ago-ish, yeah, I'd say that, you guys have seen that I used to have a pretty like symbiotic relationship with a dealership here in Tucson called On Any Moto, right? To where like I kind of did some advertising-ish for them on YouTube. You know, it's like an unofficial sponsorship, I guess you could say, in a way. Like, they would let me ride their demo bikes, do that, then advertise for them. One of the videos, which, I mean, has millions and millions of views now throughout the thing, the kindness video where I tried to give that guy a job and stuff, but it never came through. I was wearing one of their shirts, and that just so happened to be that I was wearing one of their shirts, so it kind of worked out for them. And then how I met them was through XRAM. And a lot of you noticed too, XRAM has not been on my channel in quite a while. And there's a reason for that. There's a decent reason for that. So that's how it was for a long period of time. Kind of this like a little symbiotic relationship with us. I ride their bikes, which is cool because I get to get experience on motorcycles and then just ride really cool bikes. And then it was advertising, cool. I always paid full price for all their services. So it's not like I got discounts or anything like that. Like any service or any products I got from them, besides a shirt, they did give me a free shirt, I will admit that. I always paid full price. So it wasn't really like a sponsorship. Anyways, I digress. So it started to come into light to me because I would send people there for them. You know, I'd be like, hey, you know, you need this, go to On Any Moto. Hey, you need that, go to On Any Moto. I would send people to them. And a little while back, people kept messaging back after they'd go to them and they'd be like, dude, they fucked my shit up. Like, they really did. They didn't do this, they did that. And I'll tell you a story about a couple of them. One of them went in there for a simple rear tire change. Easy peasy, rookie shit, right? Guy left, couldn't even make it home because his chain was so fucking loose. They didn't adjust the chain properly or do anything after they took the rear tire off. The guy ended up trying to call them, and from what I know, like I wasn't there specifically, but On Any Moto didn't help him at all. Didn't take responsibility for it at all. Nothing. And I was like, all right, that's kind of a dickhead move, but you know, whatever. And then the homie Bill, which I want to tell his story right now, and he gave me permission to tell it. I made sure, so everything was copacetic. The homie Bill took his bike there. Clutch was slipping really, really bad. Like he'd go down the freeway, he hit the throttle, and it would just slip. It wouldn't go into gear, it wouldn't do nothing. Took his bike there to get looked at. They diagnosed it with some sort of issue, whatever. I forget exactly what it was. Fixed it, charged him for it, which he paid a decent amount of money. Left On Any Moto. I took the bike that day. Because I had to borrow it because I needed a way to get around. I took the bike that day, rode it. Felt okay. I've only ridden the bike one time, so I couldn't tell for sure. Rode it maybe 5 miles. He took the bike from me, got almost home, and the same exact problem started happening on his bike. Bike was slipping. And so I was like, well shit, you know, homie Bill's a good friend. Like I'll call up On Any Moto, be like, hey man, this is it, you know, like hopefully we can get it back in. And the homie Bill told me, he's like, I don't care what the problem is, whatever. I just want to fix it. Like, I'll pay for it. It's not that big of a deal. Like, I'm not pissed off at them, whatever. So I was like, cool. So I call them, be like, hey, this was the issue. I'm gonna try to get it trailered into you guys. Immediately, Joshia from On Any Moto, the service manager there, or assistant general manager, whatever he wants to call himself now, immediately was like, no, you rode the bike, it was fine. What did he do? What did he do to the bike? I'm like, dude, the guy didn't even get it home. He's like, what did he do? And then he tells me this. He's like, I just looked at his Instagram and he's drinking next to his bike. He had to have messed with his bike. And this is the picture that was posted right here. Boom. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, what did he do to the bike? And I was like, he didn't do anything. He says he didn't do anything to the bike. And I was like, and trust me, if I knew something was wrong, I wouldn't call and like try to do something with you guys, right? He's like, no, he did something to the bike. And I was like, what the fuck? He goes, try to get me in. Eventually, he was like, fine, try to get him to get it in here. Give us a call. Well, homie Bill called, tried to say what's up. They wouldn't let him bring the bike in. They literally would not let him bring the bike in. They said that he was the one that fucked his bike up, and they were knocking. He's like, I'll pay for it. I'm not trying to get free shit. I'll pay for it. They were like, no. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? And at this time, I went to Chris, because Chris is really, really good friends with it. Chris is X-Ram. Really, really good friends with it. And I was like, bro, like, this happened with this other guy, this happened with Bill, and even he was like, his exact words, quote unquote, were, yes, it's making it really hard. He says, yes, it's making it really hard to support them, is what it was, basically. Like, word for word, it's making it really hard to support them. And I was like, I know, like, what the fuck, you know? The next week, they ended up firing, or whatever it was, letting go a friend of mine that worked there. And I was like, God, dude, I was like, all this service shit, they do that to him. I was like, you know, I'm just done with it. I was like, I'm done with going on any moto. And I told Chris this, and Chris, of course, had their back. Whoa, take it easy, killer. Chris, of course, had their back immediately. He was like, no, don't do this, whatever. And I was like, fine. I was gonna let it go. I was just gonna let it go. I was not gonna deal with them anymore, whatever. This guy on another Facebook group was trying to do some side work, right? As a hobby shop, like trying to do some side work for people. They would undercut his post. Josiah himself would undercut his post and say, don't go to him, come to On Any Moto. A guy that has a family and trying to make a little bit of money, they would undercut him like that. And at that point, I was like, fuck On Any Moto. Fuck them. I was like, I'm never doing anything with them anymore, nothing. I'm done, right? Not good people, dude. Not good people. Bad karma to try to undercut someone like that. That's bullshit. Fast forward to today, right? So I get a job. Actually, hold on. I do Yelp, right? Like, I do Yelp. I'm like, it's called Yelp Elite, quote unquote, whatever. It's kind of gay. I'll give you that. But so I review businesses, and I was going through all my old stuff, like I do every, you know, 3-4 months, all my old reviews. Actually, I'm gonna go straight. I was going through all my old reviews, and I found, you know, like, I update businesses basically. So if I've gone there, the service has gotten better, I give them a better review. If their service has gotten worse, give them a worse review. You know what I mean? Like every 3 or 4 months. Well, I look at the On Any Moto, ended up popping up, and I was like, well, it's time to redo their review, right? Give them 2 stars, and I said basically everything I said in this video, and I was like, even at the end, I was like, the guys know their shit, but they've gotten like kind of negligent, and it's gone downhill. Well, my friend of mine was like, hey, Josiah's fucking pissed about this review. He's pissed, and he's blaming me for it, which my friend had nothing to do with it. It was mainly the service, and then the fact that they would undercut people on their Facebook group. And I was like, oh well. I was like, everything I said in the review is true. It's not like it's bad. Like, not like I'm slandering them or anything like that, you know. And he's like, I'm just letting you know. Couple days later, the guy's like, hey, he says he knows where you work, because I work at a dealership here in town. He says he knows where you work, and he's going to try to get you fired for his review, for your review, right? They're going to literally take it to a personal level, because I gave him one bad review. And I'm like, whatever, dude, he could try to fire me. It ain't going to happen. So I went to my boss, and I was like, hey, Josiah from On Any Moto is pissed about this review, so he says he's going to try to fire me. And boss is like, whatever, fuck it. Let it go. He's like, it doesn't matter to me. So I was like, alright. So I was like, alright, you want to play hardball? Fuck this. Went to Facebook, gave him the same exact bad review. Went to fucking Google reviews, gave him the same exact bad review. Because fuck you, Josiah. You want to try to do something with me? I will run your fucking shop through the mud as much as I possibly can. And everything's true. It's not illegal, it's nothing. Every single bit of it's true. I just kept my mouth shut for a certain period of time. But you want to be like that? Fuck you. You don't know me, dude. I ain't the one to fuck around with. I will run your shit through the mud so fucking hard, it's not even funny. I will do it every day, every place I possibly can. And what the fuck are you gonna do? Not a goddamn thing. So the other day, he ended up coming to my work when I wasn't there. My boss tells him, whatever, it's on his personal time, let it go, right? There's nothing, this is unprofessional of you. So he literally, On Any Moto, literally tried to get me fired from my job because they have shit-ass service And they got mad that I called him out on it. That is exactly what happened. Everything. And the funny thing is X-Ram, you are the one, and he's the one that went through and told them all this stuff, the personal conversations I was having with him. Even though X-Ram himself was talking shit about the shop too. But X-Ram wants to leave that shit out, right? Chris wants to leave that shit out because that would ruin his friendship and his relationship with On Any Moto. All this money he spot and all this other bullshit, blah, blah, blah. That would ruin his relationship. So, X-Ram doesn't want to talk about that part now, does he? I'll stop for you, bro. Go ahead. You got the right of way. So that is why I no longer go to On Any Moto and do anything with them, because they're a shit-ass shop that fucks shit up for my friends, and then on top of that won't stand behind their work, and on top of that undercuts people on Facebook and threatens to sue them and shit like that. And that is why X-Ram won't be on here either, because he supports that type of fucking behavior. He supports that type of behavior. Right. So in closing, fuck On Any Moto. Don't fucking go to On Any Moto. Unless you have a fucking $45,000 Ducati and are willing to pay premium dollar and deal with their bullshit. If you've got a normal Joe Kawasaki, Yamaha and stuff like that, stay away from that fucking shop. Because if they do fuck up, they are not going to stand behind it whatsoever. Over it. And you know what? And Bob's the owner. Bob's the fucking owner, and he'll threaten to sue and do all this bullshit. Come at me, bro. Come at me. Everything I've said is true. What the fuck are you gonna do? What the fuck are you gonna do to me with Josiah? What the fuck are you gonna do to me? Because everything I've said is true. Have a great fucking day.